Good, Brent.
Hi.
You had your starting front court on the bench at the end there. Can you just talk about what your thought process was?
Just, I think it was pretty obvious that today the guys that were playing at the end were the guys that played well today. So, hard to take out a guy like Hump, who's got 18 and 10 at that time, and Kelly, who's got his best game as a pro going. So, stick with him.
Brad, what was the play you drew up for the last possession there?
You can't do much from the top. I mean, we were up by half court, so the deal is just get it into hopefully one of your better ball handlers / playmakers and let him try to go and make a play. And I thought Jordan, who had two really good looks right before that, he made a huge one right before that. We all know that he can get his own shot. And so, from that angle, I felt like that was our best opportunity. 4.6 seconds left when we got that, or 4.2 seconds, whatever it was. That's kind of in that range. Do you call a timeout, or you just let them play when they get that loose ball? But that loose ball was looking a little hairy, so that's why I called a timeout. It's not an ideal place to call a timeout from. You always second guess that, but letting them play in transition the two times before are probably the ones that I would do again. I'll do it every time, but at the same time, because we didn't win, there's part of me that wishes I would have called a timeout.
And then we've asked you this before, but blowing the big leads, is there any common thread here?
This was a 5-point game at halftime. Obviously, we had a nice lead in the second quarter, but I thought their starting lineup really had a great game, and I thought our bench played as well as they could, or at least played very well, and at the end of the day, we strung together that one run, and then we strung together another run in the late third, early fourth. That was very good. The 2 runs in the 48-minute game is not enough. We've got to play consistent for 48 minutes.
Fred, how much significance on that last play do you place into just the fact that Jordan was having a pretty off shooting night?
No, I think, I trust what I see is the shot that went in the time before, and then the really unselfish play, maybe too unselfish play from the corner where he threw it to Hump on the elbow. Thought he had a good look and he passed it up, but that's to be commended in my opinion. So I felt like it was a good opportunity. Jordan lives for that, so I think he'll probably beat himself up over it, but that's okay. We play again on Thursday.
You saw Solinger aggravated that hand injury. Went back to the locker room twice. Is there any update on the status there?
Had no update. Told me he re-aggravated it in the first half. Obviously that didn't factor into why he didn't go back in the game. But I think he's going to have to reevaluate it after the game.
It looked like Brandon Bass and Jeff Green might have gone into a little bit of a disagreement on the bench. Did that play into the decision to keep them on the bench for the rest of the game?
No, I think the biggest part of the decision was that the guys, I thought Gerald played pretty well. And I thought, he was giving us a ton of energy at the 3. And then, it was hard to take a guy like Courtney who was making big shots out. So that's right there. They're small, so you can match up. And then, Kelly and Chris were rolling. So disagreements are part of the game. It's part of team basketball. But how quickly you move on from there says a lot.
Right. You guys have a 9-point lead with like 5:50 left. And they went kind of to their base offense and let T create, and they sap.
They went transition, spread, pick and roll. Yep.
I mean, is that something that it seems like teams are just going to their base offenses in the fourth quarter and kind of scoring in bunches against you guys? Is there something you can do about that?
Yeah, I don't know. I think Gary, if you look at it, they scored the one on Millsap Curlin. That was a great ATO that they had. Really good play because they changed up what they normally do, and then they got us in transition, and that hurts because you should be back. And then offensively or defensively, when we were set, we weren't bad all night. But when we weren't set, it was tough. And I think it all goes back to transition. I didn't think it was they're very hard to guard when they've got those 4 perimeter scorers in the game and Millsap rolling to the rim, who, by the way, is shooting 43% from 3 in his last 5 games himself. So they've done that to everybody as you watch the end of these games. But the biggest disappointment for me is we didn't set our defense. We didn't get back.
Obviously, you guys miss Rajon, but is this a situation where Jordan's maybe inexperienced point guard for the last 5 minutes? He seemed to kind of try to take over the game a little bit. Did you see that, or is that something you're going to have to address in terms of just execution down the stretch?
I think it all is how you look at it, right? I mean, if we win the game, it's his growth as a point guard is expedited, and if we lose it, it's still a growing process. And so I think, he did a lot of good things. He missed some shots, but guys miss shots. But I think the biggest thing that we as a team didn't do again was just get back and set our defense. I thought we got good looks late. I'd have to go back and watch the transition. We got a shot. We got the rebound. I think Courtney might have had another shot, passed it up with 20 seconds left or so. I just think there's moments that we could have had back that we would probably like to have back because we lost. If you win, those moments don't become so big to us as coaches as we're watching the film.
Final question, Brian?
Brad, going back to the last play of the game, was it tempting to, given it was 4 seconds left, you guys had to inbounding from half court, was it tempting to bring in Jeff in that situation, knowing his ability to get to the hoop, or is that tough to put a guy cold in that situation?
I think it's tough to put him in cold in that situation. That's a good question. Yes, it's tempting. But, being able to get the ball to guys that have been playing for at least 5 minutes each, in Avery and Jordan, and then for most of the fourth quarter, if not the whole fourth quarter, in Courtney Lee. I think 9 times out of 10 you lean towards that. Very rarely would you put a cold person in there in that situation, unless it's to throw it in.
Final question,
You've gone with a lot of different types of offenses for the end of games. Do you think you've kind of gotten a feel for what works for this team in terms of situation?
I think it's going to depend on sometimes who you're playing. Hey, these other teams have good players. They have good athletes. They're out there trying to stop you. And so is there an exact answer to that? I don't have it. I'm continuing to search for it, and I think we need to all continue to search for it. But, the biggest thing today, or the biggest thing is did we have our chances? Yeah, we had our chances. Did we do everything we can to take advantage of our chances? And I'd say, no. But some guys played really, really well. And so hopefully we can build off the guys that played well.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, folks.